Hi everyone, and thanks for watching my online lesson on Factorise into single brackets. On the foundation tier now, you do have to know how to factorise into double brackets as well, but this is a much more difficult skill. So just looking at these three examples here, I'm aiming to put them back into a single bracket with a term on the outside of the bracket. So I need to look first, what is the term on the outside of my bracket going to be? So in this first one, what number goes into 8x and into minus 20? Well, I know that 2 goes into them both, 1 always will. Actually, the biggest number here that goes into both of these is 4. So we're always going to use the biggest number possible, and that is 4 in this case. If I look at my letters, there are no letters that go into this term and this one, because this one actually has no letters in at all. So that's it, only 4 can come out. So I'm going to open my bracket up. Now I'm looking, what term am I going to put here so that 4 times this is 8x? So 8x divided by 4 is 2x. And just double check that works. Yep, 4 times 2x is 8x. And then lastly, what do I times 4 by to get minus 20? So minus 20 divided by 4 is minus 5. So minus 5, and then I can close my bracket. I can just double check this works by expanding this back out and check I get this as my answer, because factorising and expanding are opposites of each other. So if I expand this, I get 4 times 2x is 8x, and 4 times minus 5 is minus 20. So that definitely does work. This second one's a little bit more tricky. So looking at my numbers again first, I've got 6y squared and 12y. A number that goes into both of those, well again there's several options. 2 goes into them both, and so does 3. But actually the biggest number that goes into them both is 6. So I'm going to write down 6. Then looking at my letters, I have a y squared and a y. So I know that a y goes into both of these. So I'm going to write y. And that's the most I can take out. That's what it means when it says factorise fully. It wants you to take out the most possible, the biggest possible term at the front. So now I can open up my bracket. So what do I times 6y by to get 6y squared? Well, that's just y. And then because there's a plus, I'm going to write plus. And then what do I multiply 6y by to get 12y? Well, that's just 2. And as before, I can double check this is correct by expanding this bracket back out. So 6y times y is 6y squared, and 6y times 2 is 12y. So that's correct. Last example, and this one's a little bit harder still. So first again, looking at my numbers, I have 10x squared minus 15xy. So apart from 1, the only number that goes into both of these is 5. So 5 is what I'm going to take outside my bracket. And then looking at the letters, I have a x squared and an xy. So there is an x in them both. So I'm going to write x. That's the most that I can take out, so I'm going to open up my bracket. 5x multiplied by 2x is 10x squared, so that's going to be 2x. This is a minus, so I'm going to write minus. And then what do I multiply 5x by to get 15xy? That's going to be 3y. And then close my bracket. And again, I'll just double check I've done this right. 5x times 2x is 10x squared, and 5x times minus 3y is minus 15xy. So this is definitely correct. Here are 3 questions for you to try. They're quite similar to my examples and they do get harder as you go through them. If you pause the video now, you can unpause when you're ready to see the full solutions. Here are the solutions, so you can check those with your answers. I will just say for the second two, if you had written something like 4 bracket 2y squared minus 6xy, you have factorised it, but you haven't factorised it completely or factorised it fully, because the biggest term that can come out on this third one is 8y. If you have done something like this that you know does work, but it's not factorised completely like these two, you will have got 1 out of these 2 marks for these last 2 questions. Thank you for watching.